Hey Instagram, it's me, T, from the Pattersons taking the train to Tibet, and it's a Friday morning. In fact, to be exact, let me look at the date. As you know, I got my handy book, my traveling journal. I always write the calendar in there. We're here in March, and lo and behold, it's March 7th. This is a setup actually. March 7th is a special day for at least one person, well, a bunch of people on the planet, because this is March 7th is the birthday, the life day of my second son. That would be Eric, and Eric was born in 1971 at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and it was interesting. At the time, let me tell you. Well, that means that this is his 54th birthday. I wrote this stuff down. I knew it anyway, but I wrote this stuff down. Got some numbers. We're in India right now. That's why you're here in the temple in the morning. India is one of those places, right? But the interesting thing about when Eric was born, see, I was a lab technician at the hospital he was born in, because that was my job in the Air Force. I was in the Air Force, and at that time, we had a doctor, a pediatrician actually, that was there, and basically the reason why I know this is because I was a lab technician, and I was so good at drawing blood, especially from babies, because you had to do bilirubin and stuff like that, that I was like beloved, if you want to put it that way, with the staff, the nurses, especially the nursing staff, and then because they'd have problems, when I go in there, there'd be no problems. Anyway, at that particular time, there was this doctor, Air Force doctor, that was basically bleeding these babies unnecessarily. And some even said, I'm not, whatever, some of them bleeding to death. Well, we don't get into all that. Anyway, because I was a lab technician, because of a bunch of other things, and it's a weird kind of thing, because if I'm on the scene, when I say I'm on the scene, then no matter what the authority is, they tend to adjust to me being on the scene. And I guess I have a certain demeanor or something like that, especially back then. And anyway, this doctor, he wouldn't mess with me. Anyway, so my son was born. Here's the funny thing: he was first born when he first came out. I mean, literally, he looked like a monkey. When I say he you go like, what the heck is this, right? I mean, so whatever. And usually when anyway, they put them in these. Not incubators, but these things, and they would pay attention to them and monitor and stuff like that. But for my son, they did that, but they basically left him alone. They didn't bother him. They didn't run no tests on him, nothing like that. I didn't take no blood from him, nothing like that. And within a day, he transformed. I mean, literally in a day, in less than 24 hours, this boy transformed to become like the cutest kid you've ever seen. It was amazing. And the reason why I know this, I'm telling you, you say, oh, it's because your son, you did that, so that. No, when a kid is good looking in a nursery setting, you can tell, because the nurses all of a sudden go bonkers. They put the ribbons, they groom them up really nice and da. They pamper them, and so everybody fell in love with Eric. It was like amazing, right? And anyway. So in a weird sort of way, when he was first born, I won't say I saved his life. I made some, look, he came through cool, right? Okay. I bring this up only because, I've had, with his mother, DeBrother, yeah, that's her, how do you spell it? DeBrother, I know Debbie, Deb, right? Let me put it this way. I didn't want to have a child until I was 25. We had gotten married in that actually literally 9 months earlier. Because he was in the Air Force, I figured, I had courted her for literally a year. I'm talking about, this is the old-timey thing. I'm on the, all kinds of things. Like for a year, I just courted her. And then for the next year, we lived together, in a grandmother's place. And, off and on, I was at my grandmother, whatever. And she was like, fine. Then I went into the Air Force. I said, well, I'll be with this woman for a long time. The Air Force, you get benefits if you're married, so let's get married. So she can't, I was in basic training at the time. I got out of basic training. I was in where was I? Oh, we were still in Lackland. No, was we in Lackland? No. We already went to Shepherd Air Force Base. Now, when I was in Shepherd Air Force Base, then it was, Slaughter was the thing. Okay, so we was in Wright-Patterson. So we in Ohio. So she came to Ohio. We got married in Ohio. For some reason, I thought they got married in Texas, but no, it must have been Ohio. So we got married, and oh man, I think it was Texas. She came down. No, she came down to Texas. We got married in Texas. That's right. Because like 9 months later was da. Anyway, let me put it this way. Let me just cut to the chase, right? The night that we got married, she finagled, whatever have you, and got pregnant, right? Now remember, we've been together for 2 years. No problem with that. For some reason, she wanted to have a baby right away, right? I can tell you right now, there was a movie played with Sophia Loren and Anthony Quinn. I forgot, it was some highbrow movie, right, in the area, and I wanted to go to the movies. She was, I do everything by films. So anyway, cut to the chase. So we got married. She got pregnant, right? But I'm telling you, this woman flipped. When I say flipped, I mean flipped. Now, I have to say this. The thing is that I'm not jumping on Debbie. No, I respected the fact that she had a baby. She had Eric. Eric came through. I actually insist that people pick their circumstance, but we won't get into that right now. But the dynamic is this: in her family, it was like her grandmother, her mother, and Debbie. Let's deal with those things. It was like Debbie was the grandmother was the mother, and the mother was the child, right, or the grandchild, if you want to put it that way. And my dynamic, raised by my grandmother was a true matriarch, right? But there was some weird dynamic that Debbie, she was jealous of my grandmother. It's a weird thing. I can't explain this stuff, but don't worry about that stuff. So, but the dynamic was that, my grandmother accepted everything I did. In fact, I was the only. This was her first great grandchild. She's grandmother. Her first great grandchild. So, first a lot of things. Anyway, the point is, like, Debbie sort of weirdly flipped, right? And she always would go to her grandmother for advice and stuff like that. She was, living close to her grandmother like that. And she must have got something from her grandmother, and then she did stuff. Like, I would tell her everything. She started talking bad about my mother. Let me say, my mama is a lot of things, but you don't really talk. People don't understand the relationship I had with my mother. Nobody understands that because my mother was unique. She had 7 children, 6 different fathers, and I'm one of one. Let's put it that way. And I'm the only one that didn't know she didn't remember my father, right? But I'm grateful for them because I'm grateful for my father, I'm grateful for my mother. I'm grateful. I have no whatever, but basically my mother belonged to the streets, if you want to put it that way. But that's not the point of all this. Because Debbie's mother belonged to the streets, and I'll tell you this: Debbie's father, Debbie's father was a drunk alcoholic. She had this great fear, whatever have you. Anyway, she projected all this. I didn't know at the time. She projected all this stuff on me. Leave all that stuff alone. Again, I'm not blaming Debbie. I'm just saying that's what it was. So we go along, and for basically almost immediately, she did something that was so egregious that I really couldn't. We couldn't stay with her. It's just impossible. I can't tell you what it was because it's just too personal. Okay, I can't tell you what it was. But it involved a lot of stuff that she must have got it from her grandmother and whatever it is really, and she did a lot of strange things. The bottom line is this: had I stayed, now you have to remember something about me. from 3 years old to about 5.5, 6 years old, I was in foster care, right? And terribly abused, right? Not sexually, but physically and whatever abused, right? Now, at such a young age, it only saved me my older brother. I mean, I sort of, it's kind of strange, but so it was like really bad, but I survived it, right? And I never want to, I have this whole thing, I don't want to be caged. I really don't like to be caged. When I say caged, I really mean in any shape, form of the sense of the word of being caged, right? By the way, we're in blue light. We're going to go to sunrise pretty soon. So I don't like to be caged. But the other thing is that I have this thing about the system and about being, let me put it this way. Had I stayed with Debbie, what would happen? Because I know me. Basically, I would have killed her. I'm serious. It's that serious. I would have killed her. I would be in jail. Debbie would be dead. Yes, he has sisters and brothers with her. Eric probably would be in foster care. Simple as that. Let me just cut you say that was the scenario that my understanding of it is, okay? Because believe me, I know me. Because the thing that she was doing was just so bad, I just would have. I have control, but it's a monitor, it's a whatever control. Anyway, I couldn't have that for me. I just couldn't have that. I couldn't have this child experience what I experienced at a very young age. Anyway, so we was going along just fine. When I say going along just fine, I would see him. We would go. We would hang out together all the time. I mean, I first learned about hip hop from. We was throwing the baseball, whatever have it. This is like the late 70s. This must have been 70, 78, something like 79. Somewhere now. We were in the Bronx. Throwing the ball. He asked me about hip hop because that's what it was. It's in the Bronx. It was just starting. I didn't know much about it. I said, well, I don't know, blah, 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 at the time, I would still have girlfriends, and I would go and pick up Eric, whatever have you. At one time, when I was in the Air Force, Eric came and stayed with me at the barracks. Guess how close we were, right? He stayed at the barracks, right? Everybody except him, nobody bothered us. It was very strange, So and one time I lived with 5 women at the time, but he would stay there when I was in undergraduate school and graduate school. He would stay in New Brunswick with me at where we were staying with this house because Butch was the age. And another boy was with the women where was the same age. Like here's this great scene that I was like half asleep or half awake, and the kids wanted to come and play with me or something like that. And Eric's like, block the door, no, you can't bother him now. It's very sweet, right? So I have all these memories, and like I said, so basically I was with Eric till I was about 9 years old. 10 years old. I was with Eric. Actually a little bit longer than that. Anyway, so, but then things we just drifted, it didn't happen. You can call it my fault, whatever. She tried, here's the funny thing. One time she tried to take me to family court. I guess she was gonna, well, I don't get no, I never had any money in my life, so I don't know what she was suing for, whatever. And we were sitting there waiting for the case or something like that. And she said, we was having this little talk. See, I don't yell. Somebody like that, I said, no, but, da. And she said, well, she said, go and listen. I said, well, look, I'll take care of him. I'll raise him. You don't do anything. She said, you don't know how to raise no children. Here's the funny thing about Debbie. Debbie couldn't cook. She couldn't, whatever. I'm the one that could cook. She raised him. No, I could raise Eric. In fact, I proved it. He lived with me. It was strange. And she, you can't raise no child. Your lifestyle is because I think I was at BAI at the time. Anyway, believe me, I could raise Eric. We were just that close because he's born, well, March 7th. I'm born 3/7, right? The 3rd month, the 7th day. I'm born the 7th month, the 3rd day. So if nothing else, we have the same, and we wrote down, we have the same, what we call, I guess, well, his life path is like a 1. My life path is like a 7. But we have we're always in the same year, the same, like for instance, we're both entering in this 20, according to numerology, in 2025, we're both in a one personal year. In other words, last year you get rid of stuff. This is like a new, this year, here's a sunrise. Last year, rather this year, it's new things happen. So we're always in that same momentum. That kind of thing happens. So anyway, so she was like, right. So anyway, so on and off, he would keep taps because I'm not hiding. I mean, I'm on the radio in New York. He's in New York. She's in New York. Whatever it is, right? But she kept on keeping it away from me because when my grandmother passed, see, he would come to my grandmother's house all the time. I would meet him there. Da 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 da. When my grandmother passed, the next matriarch was my sister, and my sister in my family, the person who inherited all the money genes like that is my sister. She's a hustler. She makes the money. I don't. I do other things, right? I do other things. And Debbie would not allow him to be with my sister or anything like that, because basically my sister would have taken over the role of my grandmother, and I would still see him, whatever it is. One time he came down to my sister living in Virginia to visit, right? And my Debbie gave it, and he's not to go swimming. This is like he's not to go into swimming like that. Well, it's the summertime, whatever. Right? My sister gonna my sister like me, please. So she had him go swimming, whatever. And Debbie freaks out. She got these rules, you know what I mean? Arbitrary rules, right? Again, I'm not dumping on Debbie. It's just the way she is. What can I say? But the thing is, Eric looks so much like me. I feel for her because I can see her only child looks at me every day, hates me for whatever reason. Well, because I don't follow orders. Let's just put it that way. You can't. Debbie's a one personality. I'm a 3. What can I tell you? Eric's a 7 personality. What can I tell you, right? So her and Eric should be all right. But I can see her seeing me in everything and just spewing all kinds of things turn this boy against me, whatever it is. I'm going to cut to the chase. I'm going to wrap this up now. There's one point that I didn't understand. She contacted me because he had a court case. He's going to court. I said, what? This is like, now he's about, how old? He's in his teens now, late teens. In fact, he was just about graduating high school because, interestingly enough, talk about irony of irony. The Poland residents for No More Radio had 2 Poland residents. There's Kurt Lampkin Jr. and Sophia Henderson Holmes. Ends up, Eric went to an alternative class situation, and Sophia was his teacher. I didn't notice till the last, he's supposed to graduate that program, right? And I saw Sophia, and I was talking, and mentioned something, and she said she's going this thing, and I said, Eric said, well, that's my son. She looked at me and said, oh, your eyes, now I see it. See, he had been teaching him the whole time. If I known. So I was going to go to his graduation, but ended up he didn't go to his graduation for that because he was just graduating high school. Anyway, let's go back to this court case. He ends up, because he had graduated high school, he's in court because of a gun possession, because something happened with Debbie, and he got a gun to defend her. Just back then, when most of the boys, a lot of the cats that you see in jail was defending their mamas. Let's put it that way. My brain was going like, whoa, wait a second. We don't. If you're Sloans, we don't roll like that. We're not gun. We use the intellect to get things done. So I was like totally confused. So we did this court case, and I'm sitting in the back with Eric. I don't know where Debbie was at the time, waiting for his court to come up. Now, anyway, so I always cross my feet at the ankles. So I crossed my feet at the ankles, and at this particular time it was my right ankle over my left ankle, and he was sitting next to me, and he had his left ankle over his right, so we both was the ankles the feet were facing each other. But I looked down, he had the exact same shoes I had on. These shoes were hard to find. I mean, that's how weird things were. That's how close he was out. I sort of, ooh, this is interesting because nobody had these kind of shoes. Let's put it that way. Understand shoes. Well, anyway, so that court case went. I forgot what happened. Whatever. But we were all in this elevator going down. There's like a shining mirror kind of thing. So Debbie's standing here, Eric's over there against the wall. And so I looked at her, I said, well, my dear, you're looking fetching today. And I put my arm around, you're looking fetching today. And she said, I don't believe anything you say like that. But the way it was done, I could see Eric reflecting in the thing. I can keep going like, what the hell is going on with these? I can't believe, it was very strange, not strange, but it's kind of weird thing. Because whatever, all is said and done, I don't want to say I'm charming, but I can be charming, right? And I have no animosity against anybody, especially women. I don't beat up on women. I don't beat up on nobody, unless you need to be beat up on. So anyway, so Eric never got in touch with me, but he knew I existed because we one time he told me in that court case, I was on the Sally Jesse Raphael show one time during the Iraq War or something like that. Because when I say on it, I mean I was in the audience and Amy Goodman was on the panel talking about the war. And I think Sally Jesse Raphael, she's known for some other things, but for some reason she had this idea she was going to address the Iraq War. So she had a panel. So a bunch of us came, the program, Andrew Phillips at the time, I was arts director. We all came, just to sit in the audience, whatever have you. And I had this sort of cap. It looked like a jughead cap that I got from the craft fair. I was wearing that in the audience. It actually had a little maroon kind of thing like that. Wearing that. And and let me say, I'm a communications master. And just before a break, so I just looking around there, I did one thing. If somebody's wearing a hat, it means something. They're out, and they always have an interesting opinion. So just before the commercial break, I raised my hand. So she came to me, and I said something about the Iraq, but I didn't say it like I was an anti-war. I was just saying this is messed up. My sister is a reservist, and it was a very profound statement. And the way it was delivered is like a regular common person. I can't explain this like that. So it sort of hit. Eric saw that. But see, again, I'm not hiding. I'm on the radio, like when I was doing the YouTube, my brother saw me. So, but people, whatever. So Eric knows I exist. He knows how to get in touch with me. I'm bringing this all to a close when I say this. People don't understand. You have a child, right? Yeah, you're supposed to rear the child, or you'll say raise up, rear the child for a certain age, and then you're blah, 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 blah. But the child is your child forever. And if you didn't rear them from okay, I've reared them to about 9 years. Say from 9 to on, you have no contact with your child. That doesn't mean when he's 54, he's 54 today, it doesn't mean he can't talk to me. I'm still his daddy. You know what I mean? I got knowledge. You know what I mean? He's got children. I might have grandchildren by now, right? And the lineage goes through that. So you don't know what your destiny is. There may be things that your grandchildren got to know. And you can't pull it, well, he has cousins, he has other people, blah, 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 blah. Well, so I'm actually not talking to Eric exactly. I'm talking to everybody. Look, everybody says, oh, the father's got to do this, the father's got to do that. Hey, the children can reconcile with their parents too. And it happens, if they won't do it, then that's fine. But there's information that people have. You all need to get over this. Talk about unity in the black community or unity in whatever community. Just get over it. You could be, Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. Passed recently. He's like 21 years older than I am. His knowledge, and my knowledge, it's like it's meshing. I'm going like, oh, if it wasn't for a mistake in geography, he could have been my daddy. But his knowledge, I fully embrace his knowledge. So the knowledge, what I'm trying to say that it's knowledge one thing, the knowledge of rearing something or whatever, or understanding something still goes on. He was raised by whatever. I was raised by the Cadet Corps. Bunch of men, you know what I mean? I was literally raised by the Cadet Corps. My university, I got university, but my biggest university was WBAI Radio. My education is more vast than any graduate you can go to. I'm telling you. How can I say this? About reading and the internet and whatever have you, I'm really like a bunch of people. Nobody has any excuse this day and age to say, oh, the education system or the system this or whatever. You have no excuse. Nobody has any excuse. Nobody has an excuse to do wrong, to not contact their parents, to blackball or disown or whatever. You have no excuse. There is no excuse any longer. Unless the person is a psychotic killer and you're afraid they're going to kill you or strangle you, whatever have you. I don't know. But there is absolutely no excuse. There's no excuse for any illiteracy or anything like that. There's no excuse for the system did this and I can't get ahead here. Yo, read a book. You can't read a book, turn it into a YouTube channel. There's some guy from Zimbabwe learned how to draw, learned how to paint. He was in Hustler Street just painting from YouTube, and there's all kinds of. I don't accept anything any longer. In this modern day and age, there is no excuse for anything. There's no excuse for estrangements. There's no excuse for being stupid. There's no excuse for anything other than you're a herd animal and you're basically, here we go, ignorant. So, my message to people like my son, who continues to, I don't know, maybe the boy dead, I don't know, so I shouldn't say that, who continue to be stupid, denying, grandchildren or great-grandchildren, family ties, whatever have you, it's on you, okay? You're being ignorant, totally ignorant. And most of the people around here, I don't want to do because this person was this way 20 years ago. Well, they changed. Well, Linda Rudrow, I lived in a house, I owned a house, very big house, but it doesn't matter. But Linda had her father there, Percy. And her father, when he was very abusive, but she took care of him in his older age. He changed. Everybody changes. I, like a bunch of evolutionaries, you can't say that just because your daddy was an alcoholic and an abuser, that your man, the father of your child, is going to be alcoholic and abuser. Oh, but he smoked a joint. He must be, oh, please, get over it. Okay? So the ignorance got to start being, these times are important. Because unity is more important. I won't say family is important, but unity is important. We all got things to do. I got things to do. I'm gonna land my helicopter here. Got to go. This was a life day message to not only to a bunch of people. Embrace your life, because your life is your life. It's your life path. It's not dictated by others. It's dictated by you. You are in control of your life and the things that happen in your life. And you can bring it together or let it continue to kerfuffle you. All right, gotta go.